Welcome to another fun-filled edition of the CineFiles. I'm your host, Edwin Samuelson. My co-hosts, I'm with Michael Foltz.
Thank you.
Jeff Galashaw. And Steven Sapalestein. Our first topic, of course, today is Rob Zombie's Devil's Rejects, which was his follow-up to House of a Thousand Corpses. It basically follows the exploits of a killer family on the run from the law. So what do you guys think of this eagerly anticipated follow-up?
Loved
it.
Awesome.
It was so
best
great.
Movie of the year.
One of the best movies of the year.
One of the
Oh,
best.
God.
So
God.
good.
Everything about it was
I
fantastic.
loved it.
Every second.
oh
Every
my
stupid
God.
second.
I want
Man.
Rob Zombie to make more movies.
I want him. I want studios to drive up the Brinks truck, just start unloading the cash in his yard.
$100 million
I'm
budget.
so fucked here because I really didn't like the movie.
Why? What's
Yes.
wrong?
What was wrong with
What's
the
wrong?
movie?
See,
Like
I'm
it.
getting ganged
Come
up
on.
on.
You
Come
love
on.
exploitation.
Okay,
Exactly.
I named some things I like about it. See if you agree. Gratuitous nudity back for the attack.
Ding.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
The music, the Southern Rock score was awesome because it fits so good into that time.
Freebird is the most overplayed white trash heavy metal song
It's a
ever.
white trash
It's a white trash.
It's a white trash movie.
exploitation.
Exactly. It's an
summertime-
exploitation flick. You like exploitation.
I love exploitation.
This is bringing
So how
back
do
the
you-
exploitation flick. How do you not like it?
All right, let me tell you what I did not like about the film. Of course, as you know, people said that he is very heavily influenced by Texas Chainsaw Massacre in this film. A lot.
No, not so much. More the first
The
one.
problem
This
is
one
that
influenced by 70s filmmakers.
I'll tell you what I did like about it and what I didn't like. I liked the tone of the film. I thought he really captured a 70s feel. I liked the look of the film. I liked a lot of the actors. The problem I had, one, no story. Two,
No story.
no story.
What are you
No
talking
story.
about?
Let me finish.
Talking
Hey,
about?
I'll tell you. Let me finish, and then you can
Please,
get into
no,
it.
you
no
listed
story.
something, but yeah, okay.
Okay,
back
no
that up.
story.
How is there no story?
Basically, they're just they're on the run from
It's
point A
a
to
road
point B.
movie with maniacs. That's
Exactly.
the story.
They're on the run from cops.
Well, the thing I had
killing along the way.
Another thing I hated is that every other word adjective in the movie is fuck. It's like the kid. He's got, ooh, I can say fuck. Let me say fuck. It's like that South Park episode where they could say shit 170 times before it got tiresome.
People that not only are the killers, but they're clearly, stunted growth in their head. They're.
What do you expect them to do? Have like a whole long monologue?
I didn't like that. Another thing I did not like is that if you're rooting, he makes you feel bad for these merciless killers who kill innocent people at the end and waiting for them to get away.
Yeah, but
It's called a
they don't get
horror
away.
film.
I mean, they all die.
But I mean, you're still rooting for them.
It's automatically disproved that you're saying there's no storyline. You're saying there's no storyline that you approved of.
I was bored. There was
Exactly.
nothing. I mean,
Bored?
I prefer.
That movie is like a mile a minute.
Bored. what
What
were
movie
you
were
doing?
you watching?
I'm so fucked here, guys.
You were on prescription drugs watching this
You
film?
had a.
If I was, it might have helped it. I actually preferred House of Thousand Corpses. There's a scene where a lady is killed by a tractor trailer.
How are you
And
That's horrifying.
That was awful. The whole theater was clapping and applauding when this was poor innocent lady got
But
smashed.
Because it was caught by surprise.
Your complaint is not the movie. Your complaint was with that creepy audience you were with.
Well, the audience I saw it with was these bunch of metalhead losers that like had all these tattoos that are like trying to be. They're fat,
Same thing I
overweight.
saw it with.
They have fishnet stockings trying to be hot, and it's just like, baby,
what do you
you
expect?
ain't turning nobody
Don't
on with that
judge
fat
the
ass.
audience,
Don't
judge the film.
Judge the movie.
But they were bored. They were bored by
No,
it.
they weren't. They were clapping.
Were you at the audience I was at? With
You
the
just
big
told me.
You just told us they were
So were you there at that audience?
I don't clap during boring films.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, nobody claps during boring films.
What are you
That's
talking
for
I don't
sure.
think it's. I think it's sad when you have the lead. Who is? I'm sorry. The police, the sheriff. I cannot think of his name.
Forsythe?
William
Who was
Forsythe, who was
fantastic.
very good. But the thing is, this is a guy who had his brother taken away from him, and then they make him look like a nut, that he's the bad guy at the end of
Yeah,
the
but
movie.
he goes over the edge. He basically becomes one of them to fight them, and he fails because he dies. He doesn't get any of the revenge he wants besides killing the mom. Oh.
By the way, that's another thing I did not. I was sad. I thought she was very good. Leslie Easterbrook as the mother in the original was Karen Black. And I was sad she was
Karen
not
Black
in it.
is crazy in
And I did the one thing I
In
liked. I
life.
like the cameos. I love seeing Mary
That's what I'm
Warnoff.
saying. Like, look at that cast.
I love Mary Warnoff. I love Ken Foray.
Cast is a cast
Ken
that
Foray.
you think you'd love.
I just wish that they
Sid
had
Michael
better movies.
Berryman.
No.
Michael Berryman?
Yeah, Michael Berryman was fantastic.
They were all good. The actors were all good.
Terry
except
from
the
Three's
lighting on his
Company?
actors.
Yeah,
Who still has a
Priscilla
nice
Barnes.
body,
I really
by
did
the
not,
way.
I did not like what they. I thought that was very
Terry from Three's
sadistic and
Company
mean.
was great.
Deborah
Putting the
Vaughn.
knife right right in her chest and
They
everything.
putting the gun in her crotch.
I mean, come on, taking the nude woman and pulling her out by her
I
hair out of the
can't.
shower,
Yeah.
then making her wear her husband's dead face. I mean, this is taken.
That's from
it's
Texas
just-
Chainsaw Massacre.
I mean, this is going, which is from the Ed Gein murders. So, but I mean,
Nothing's original now.
Yeah. You're basically taking a premise that could have been overdone, and this guy makes a perfect homage to 70s exploitation films. Does it perfectly, and
Films
like
that
I
you
said,
love.
Exactly.
I'd
And
rather
you
watch
don't
the
love
original.
this.
I'd rather watch the originals. I love Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
these
Let me
are-
tell you about Texas
but
Chainsaw
don't
These
you
Massacre.
are better than the
make
original.
No, I think
movies
Texas
that are
Chainsaw. I think Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a much better film because
course,
let me
but
tell you
Texas
why.
Chainsaw Massacre is
Texas
the
Chainsaw
originator.
Massacre is that you feel bad
can't-
for
you
the
can't-
victim who's running away, and you're hoping the whole time she gets away from these evil creeps, and you're like, you still are shocked by them, but you're like, go on, get away from these people, get away from Leatherface.
But you can't.
But
top
you
Texas
can
Chainsaw Massacre.
still
Exactly.
root that way in the film and hope that just because you're with a creepy audience that is rooting for the villain. I mean, this way, in a way, that's the genius of Rob Zombie, that he gets you to root for the villain in this. You get
It's easy
these
manipulation.
sadistic, horrible people, and yet you find yourself in some way kind of rooting for them.
Well, it's easy
even then when you
manipulation.
don't want to.
Don't forget, there's lots of types of manipulation in audience.
I wanted them to get their comeuppance, though. I still wanted them to suffer at some point.
I didn't
and
feel
they
that.
did suffer, getting crucified to the chair and everything.
But when they were getting hurt, you were like, oh, God, that's just too much. Please let them get away. I didn't like
no,
that.
I don't know if I wanted
How did you
to.
guys feel about that?
I thought everyone in the character was all shades of gray. The William Forsythe character, at times you're rooting for him, at times you just thought he went over the edge. Same with the family. At times you saw them as like.
I liked a lot of it. I mean, there's a lot of vignettes I like. Like I like the opening, which is a whole homage to the original Ned Kelly. With them making the iron out of a stove.
The iron.
That's all
suit.
from Ned Kelly, the original Australian hero outlaw. And I liked the scene where he talked about Elvis. I thought that was very funny.
That was a great scene.
That
with
was
Gene
great.
Shalit. There was a goddamn Skidoo reference in this movie.
Rob Zombie, I salute you for showcasing your wife's ass. Sherry Moon Zombie has maybe the greatest ass in cinema, and quite frankly, nobody's coming close to her. And when she's bending over going, what are you going to do, shoot me in the ass? Go ahead and shoot me, and starts slapping her naked ass. It's wonderful, folks. It's wonderful.
He just buttered everyone's popcorn in the theater. I did not care for it. I will say this. I think Rob Zombie's a much better film director than he is musician because his music sucks. Did you guys like House of Thousand Corpses?
No.
Yes, I did.
I
liked it.
I liked it.
I didn't like
I
it.
liked it, but I think that he learned a lot from that film with trying to root
It's sloppy.
for
It was a
the
sloppy
villains and
movie.
stuff.
Yeah,
I
but
liked
this
it.
is a lot
I liked
better.
it because
This was
it took
clean.
such
This
a
is perfect.
strange turn at the film because it went from he could have made it just a normal homage to Texas Chainsaw Massacre and just made it throughout, but then he turns it into this very bizarre monster movie there. And I credit it because it was such a strange turn. I thought, hey, somebody's got the balls to do something weird these days in a horror movie.
Because you must hate the PG-13 movies. Just
I
as much
hate
as
it
all
more
of
than
us.
anybody. In fact, there's a movie.
And yet here's a movie that's rated R. It's balls
it's like
to the
custom
wall.
made, custom
It's in
made
a
for
genre that
movie
you love, and you don't
executives
like it.
us.
I just didn't like it. I'm sorry, guys. There's a lot of films that, hell, I'm surprised that you like and I don't like. But this is one I did not like. However, I did like lots of little pieces, but as a whole, it failed to come
So
to
you'd
me.
never recommend it to somebody?
I would not recommend it. There is one thing I would like to mention
Again.
to everybody out there. I would like to say a little memorial for two actors. In fact, one of them who was in Devil's Rejects died recently, Matthew McCory, who played Tiny. He, unfortunately,
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot died, and unfortunately, Mike almost forgot here, but we want to also pay tribute
Shout out to Brock Peters,
Peters.
who died recently, actually 2 days ago, and an amazing actor.
Our next topic, of course, we talked earlier about Spike Lee's worst film. And
On our last episode.
Our last, yes. And we're going to talk again about,
Well, we were wearing the
this
same
time, Martin
clothes.
Scorsese. Martin Scorsese is a highly acclaimed director, made many
Love him.
masterpieces. I love his films.
The master.
But every good director has made one film that fails to measure up to his other films. And I'm going to start out with Jeff here. What do you think is Martin Scorsese's worst film as director?
Now, I am saying this with much,
Love.
yes, but I would have to say his worst is still better than most, but Bringing Out the Dead was a little hard to take.
Holy shit.
I wanted to really love it, even though I'm not that big of a fan of Nicolas Cage. That was probably mistake number one.
Wait, what?
Yes.
sorry.
And also Paul Schrader. I mean, that's a disappointment. 'Cause to me, it's more of a disappointment. Paul Schrader coming back to write it.
Exactly. And when usually the Taxi Driver team is back together, and
That's magic. That should be magic.
exactly, and
using-
this is what you come up with.
Instead of using worst film, let's just use disappointments because we
Yes,
love
it-
Scorsese.
yes,
so much.
because
And
you
you
know
know something?
I
to
can't
save
say it's a
time-
bad
This
To
film.
man's
save
great.
time on this, I
man's
will
beautiful.
agree with Jeff because I'm with Jeff on this. There's no need to come back to me. I'm just getting on his boat and we're driving up water because let me tell you something. Nicolas Cage, for a period, Nicolas Cage was making After I think he won the Oscar for Leaving Las Vegas, he made a block of movies that were so god awful, from The Rock to Armageddon to Gone in 60 Seconds, Con Air.
Which I like.
I'm sorry, not Armageddon. I'm sorry, Con Air.
Face Off.
Yeah, it was just a block of the
Family
most
Man.
that
Commercial.
lottery winning
Where you
thing,
couldn't tell.
that was
that's
pre-Oscar.
before.
Family Man.
It could happen to you.
No, that was
Yeah, it could happen to you.
Well, that's what makes me upset about
Family
Nicolas
Man.
Cage.
Paradise.
Nicolas Cage.
This is a talented man. Wild at Heart, one of my favorites.
Raising
He's
Arizona.
Raising
He was-
But he
Arizona.
lost it.
The thing is about him, he was a very unusual-looking man, so he took a lot of the most, risky projects.
A character actor with a leading man's appeal.
Yeah, and finally he got some success. He goes, I'm going to milk this for all it's worth and make every commercial film like it.
It's a shame because you stop being an actor and become a performer, like Sean Penn said.
But then he finally gets this chance to work with one of the great ones,
so tell
and
me,
he
what's the
blows
end?
it.
And it looks like he forgot to act well. That's what it looked like. Every opportunity, it looked like he was overacting. Now, you had other actors in the film doing little bit roles, and they were funny. Ving Rhames, very funny.
Very good.
That's great.
John Goodman sitting there thinking about what kind of food he was going to have that night, very funny.
Probably
Tom
not too
Sizemore?
method, though.
Tom Sizemore.
Our favorite
Off
drug addict.
the fucking wall in that movie.
Yeah,
But
great.
Off the wall.
With all the drugs.
That is
probably.
Tom Sizemore.
He was great.
Yeah, but
He's fantastic.
Nicolas Cage.
Mark Anthony?
What ruins the movie for you? Is it Nicolas Cage? Is it the writing, the execution? What makes it such a disappointment to you guys?
Oh, man.
Yeah, Nicolas Cage, man, just driving it. And Patricia Arquette, I'm sorry.
No
Yeah,
chemistry.
Patricia Arquette, there was no
chemistry.
chemistry.
And
And they're married.
They were married.
Yeah,
You
no
know?
chemistry whatsoever. And even Martin Scorsese wasn't as strong in music as he normally is within his films, although his
the
little
Clash spit. was
his
great.
little
The
thing
Clash.
with Jamie Jones.
No.
was
I'll give him
very
one more
good,
too.
yeah.
He also did another song I really like, if You Can't Put Your Arms Around a Memory by Johnny Thunders, which I thought was a nice little homage to a very underrated person. But the movie, you're right, I think it's very weak. It's just very bland. I mean,
very
it's
uninspired.
It's
Very
uninspired.
It has some great moments.
It's
It has
good
good moments.
ideas. It's
Yeah.
good ideas. I'm sorry,
It's one
Marty.
of those movies that you can watch.
Bad execution and bad acting by Nicolas Cage is elite. I think he's just dreadful in the film.
But it is not a failure on Mr.
No,
Scorsese's
it's a
part.
disappointment, but it's still better than any piece of shit Michael Bay has ever
Let's put it this
directed.
way, agree or disagree, if Darren Aronofsky made this film, everybody would be like, oh my God, this is incredible.
Don't get me started on that asshole. But that will bring. All right.
Let's start with that.
No. All
Yeah,
right. 'Cause
not- at
if you
least
ask
this
me,
week.
every one of his films stinks, and that's only two. But our next, my choice, it's a film that pains me to watch because it's the first film that Martin Scorsese. It's actually, I believe, until The Aviator was his most successful film, which was Cape Fear. To me, the original Cape Fear with Robert Mitchum and
Gregory Peck. Telly
is
Savalas,
it's a very
Martin
good
Balsam.
little movie. And in fact, Gregory Peck and Robert Mitchum and Martin Balsam all make cameos in the movie, and it's a little pass of the torch under Scorsese. The thing that has great camera work by the great Freddie Francis, who did Glory and directed many Amicus films like Tales from the Crypt. But the thing to me is it's just so over the top and ridiculous. Robert De Niro's Southern accent is probably perhaps the worst I've ever heard in my life.
The accent that Robert De Niro has is so over the top that it's fun almost to do it, like right along in the spur of the moment with the thing.
Like, it's just
you know.
ridiculous. I mean, it's like
Come on, wherever
Wherever
you
you
are.
to me,
are.
it reminds me of those old '70s films, like where the killer just won't fucking die. It's like he comes back as
But see,
Freddy
the
Krueger
thing-
on the boat. He just won't stop. Who the
see,
fuck
the
is this
thing,
guy?
The thing, though, is from what I've read, though, that the film itself is a criticism of films like that back then. I mean, you can even tell in the strange camera work and the first interaction scene between Nick Nolte and Jessica Lange when he goes, "I like that thing that you do with your shoulder," and then they show that juxtaposition with her in the mirror and him in back, and I mean, it's a criticism. I mean, yeah, the whole over the top. I mean, the death scene alone with Robert De Niro. Here we go.
God, it goes on too long.
No, but it's funny because he's sitting there speaking in tongues as he's drowning in a whirlpool. How over the top is that? But that's.
I did not care for it. I mean,
That's-
the
You know what?
acting-
I'm going to agree with Edwin on this one. I don't care for Cape Fear either. I understand exactly what you're saying, that it's a criticism of those movies, and
Yeah.
but it has
I'd
no
like
spirit
to
in
sit
it.
down and try and watch it again, but it just
I hate
it's
it.
all cheese. The scene that a lot of people really like, which I hate, is a scene when De Niro confronts Juliette Lewis. I think it was in the high
terrible.
school place.
I get very uncomfortable with that.
That's just a
not
painful scene.
Not the
That's
best
an easy
scene.
watchable. That's not an easy.
But
scene
I
to
just think
watch,
it's bad. It's a bad scene.
I just don't think it's very convincing because, I mean, this guy is a really
No.
frightening criminal, and he's picking up this girl, and her father has told her to beware of this guy, and she's just playing with him like, you know, nothing's happening. That's just not believable.
I just think there's you know, it's not one of his best. I'll tell you that right now because I could just go on and on about his best films. But I will say that to me, it's just not as bad as Bringing Out the Dead. It's just not.
I can't believe you would say that, really. Because the thing is this, is that
I said it earlier.
I can understand Bringing Out the Dead. I mean, it's the thing is this, I can see how Martin Scorsese tried to put some of himself into this film, but this to me felt like, okay, this is my chance to make a big movie. Spielberg's producing it. I have a chance to make a big movie, to make a big success, and sadly it was a success, but not as big as they were hoping. I did not like it. I thought Robert De Niro was just totally ridiculous. I thought everything was cartoony. The script was so
like
bad.
Nolte is a little bit miscast too.
Yeah, he was.
I'll say that.
He was more, you know, he's just more terrifying than
He is.
anybody.
I don't buy
Well, he's
Nolte's kind of man.
huge.
And Jessica Lange is very disappointing. She just plays the.
I liked her. I really liked her.
I like
in
her,
this.
but she's very boring in that.
There was an interesting thing, though, that they talked early on about Nick Nolte's character being a boxer or having a background in boxing or something and talking about protecting his family. And then he's really portrayed as a wimp throughout, which I thought was a little strange. But and then that whole thing with Elena Douglas and the like pseudo affair that they had or didn't have, and then
I just did not like.
Oh,
the film.
I do like the scene when he bites off her cheek.
yeah, bites off her cheek. That was pretty
That's
over
sick,
the,
but-
that was once again it goes back to the strength of the movie, which I feel is the over the top
Well,
nature of Max Cady.
That's one thing. As if what I wanted to say is like we talked about remakes earlier on another show. Basically, this is a remake that added nothing onto the original. The original told it perfectly well, and there was nothing that needed to be updated. That's how I felt. I felt the original
But
set
it's
is
not.
much better.
But it's not like a
And much more
you know,
terrifying, if you ask me. Robert
yeah,
Mitchum. He's
yeah.
much more terrifying because he's a more believable character.
Yeah.
De Niro was not believable at all for me.
Yeah, like I said, it was the over the top,
the top.
and you know, there you go.
So you picked you Griffey on Cape Fear, right?
Yeah, I think Cape Fear or Age of Innocence, which just bores me to tears. In my eyes, Scorsese can do no wrong.
Exactly.
The man's
well,
just
we
great.
can all agree.
He's made some of my favorite
We
movies of all
all
time,
respect
so.
the man. He's a great filmmaker. He really hasn't made a terrible film. He's made a couple of disappointments, but the man is probably the greatest living filmmaker.
And he deserved that fucking Oscar last year.
Yeah,
Just
I
Yes,
throw
mean,
he
that out
did.
there.
For the
Damn it.
Aviator.
Give the man the Oscar
Christ.
now.
For what?
Give him the Oscar.
Please.
I mean, why are you punishing this man? How many Oscars does
like
Clint
Job.
Eastwood have to like stack his house on before Scorsese? You know,
He has
throw
book
the
reps.
man a bone.
Wow.
Actually, you know,
And not an honorary one.
yeah, not an
Please.
honorary.
They
one.
messed up
That's
twice. They keep
bullshit.
messing up. They had to give Charlie Chaplin an Academy Award, like an honorary one, and they had to give
Stanley-
Hitchcock. And Hitchcock.
And Stanley Kubrick.
When will they learn?
And Charlie Sheen. Oh, I'm sorry.
Charlie Sheen will never
It
get
hasn't
one.
happened yet. but
He'll
it
probably get a
will.
Golden Razzie, though.
He'll get that honorary Oscar.
Well, that'll bring us to I guess that we can close up the topic on that. And our next topic, which is something I'm really looking forward to discussing, is our most hated films. And I'm going to start this out with Steve because Steve,
We're just gonna do this, Edwin.
We're gonna just do a rapid fire.
Yeah, we're gonna rapid fire this, and we're gonna just do this until we have no more time left.
Exactly.
All right.
Movies you should
until
never
our,
see
and
or
And,
watch.
and we're going to give a little description why we hate it. Nothing, just a very brief synopsis.
And
why
we
hate it.
might do this for later shows.
Well,
We're
all right,
well,
always
okay.
hate
Well,
films.
the one-
We're all filled with hate.
Well, that's the one thing I want to say is today Hollywood is so creatively bankrupt, and the movies are just getting worse and worse. And there's more. I'd say there's a lot more bad films today than good films. I think we can both agree on that. I want to start with you though, Steve. I want to go this way because
All right. Well, I'm going to start.
With
This movie has like this was like one of the earliest movies I saw that was just. I just hated it. Like,
what is it?
It
Come
just
on.
made me sick. It was the Island of Dr. Moreau remake, the Frankenheimer version.
Crappy ass.
Just one of the worst, most painful, difficult
Jesus.
to swallow movies of all time.
You know what's so sad too is it has such great talent behind it. It
Oh,
has
yeah.
John Frankenheimer.
Brando,
It has
Kilmer,
Brando
Thewlis.
with those stupid teeth and the Polk mobile with the white makeup.
Ron Perlman.
And they're all like in different movies. Of
It's
their
a fu-
own.
it's a- I mean, now it might be interesting to watch as a fucking train wreck, but at the time I was looking forward to it because it had a great trailer, it had, like you said, great people behind it. It's a great premise.
Yeah, and it was
just shit.
And
It
Richard
was just
Stanley.
utter-
Richard Stanley, who's a very talented
Yeah.
director, was the original director.
Yeah,
That's why I was
got
looking
fired
so
off it. Yeah,
talented.
Richard Stanley's a very talented guy.
Was it
who
Kilmer
can't,
who got
can't
him?
get work.
No.
Was it Kilmer who got him fired?
Kilmer got him fired because he's such an asshole. And
Kilmer,
David
you
Thewlis.
fucking
David
prick.
Thewlis is very good in everything, but he was terrible
Well, it
in this.
wasn't even supposed to be David Thewlis. It was supposed to be Rob Morrow.
Really?
And he walked off.
Who is also a very terrible
How do you
actor.
go from Rob Morrow to
David Thewlis?
How do you go
That's
up
a big
that ladder?
improvement. That's a big
Bankability.
improvement.
Yeah, Mike
Yeah,
Lee
at
was
the
going to
time.
use Rob Morrow in Naked, but to say on David Thewlis. That is a
How the
lie,
hell?
everybody.
Yes.
A terrible, heinous
How
lie.
do you go up? to
I
that
can
ladder?
agree with you, though. And, well, I will give
Rob
credit to one thing about Island Dr. Moreau. Thanks to it, we have one of the funniest scenes in Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me, with them playing the
Yeah,
dual
Shag Mini-Me.
pianos with Mini-Me. Well, Jeff, what's your choice there?
The General's Daughter. I mean, I'm sorry. I know everybody out there knows I hate Simon West, but this film, it was just ludicrous from beginning to end. It got to a point where I didn't even care who killed anybody in the movie anymore. I just wanted it to end. And then this trailer, which is like, it's worse than rape.
Yeah.
It's worse than murder.
What?
And it's like...
No, it goes like this. He's like, it's murder. No, it's worse. And like, what?
Say what, brother?
Go see it, and it's like, okay, that was what
They
was
murdered
over.
him, raised him from the dead, raped him, then murdered him again.
Now
That's a
would
pretty,
be
yeah,
movie.
that's a movie. I would see that. I mean, that's pretty bad. Simon West, I mean, that's not his worst film.
No,
Funny
it's not.
enough.
Trust me, it's not his worst film by far, but it's just one of the films I hated the most because I got fooled into going to see
And I
it.
loved your comment about James Woods being the gay guy or whatever, and they outed him, and then he was like, what was that? I can't
No,
remember.
that wasn't my comment. That was
My comment, because you can tell as soon as he enters the room that he's gay, and then like 20 minutes later, I'm not ruining anything because it sucks anyway, but after James Woods' death scene, it's supposed to be this big shot. He was gay? No way!
shit.
It was like, no, I couldn't tell from his hand gesture.
What happened to Don't Ask, Don't Tell? Come on.
I was like, God, he was gayer than Tony Randall in that.
Whoa.
Oh.
Whoa. Okay.
Oh, excuse me. Straight
Well,
Tony
I agree
Randall.
with you on that. Mike, what is your choice?
Lucas is such a piece
Yeah,
of garbage.
yeah,
that is
God.
Oh, no.
That is
Come on.
That is
How
a-
could you
that-
hate
that is a filthy
Please,
film
please elaborate
with
on the
a
movie.
filthy character. This little
Oh.
underdog faggot is from the very beginning.
right. This
is
You're
not
supposed to
PC.
root for this little piece of shit, and let me tell you something. There was never a movie character I hated more than that little piece of puke. I was cheering when they put all that Tiger Balm salve in his jock, and he's running around going, "Oh, it burns, it burns." My mom, who is a very good-hearted woman who roots for the underdog and everything, she hated that Lucas. She wanted him to suffer like no. I wish to God it would have been like Passion of the Lucas, and they just tortured him for 2 hours.
Come
just
on.
tortured that little
Jesus
fuck.
Christ.
Dude,
I
you
thought
did
I
that
was
Thing against Corey Haim or something?
No, I
Dude,
just
hey.
hated that little character.
Jeez.
I
thought
wanted him
Lucas
to
was a charming
suffer.
coming-of-age
Oh,
film.
It's a nice little
God damn
film.
that little son
Winona
of a bitch.
Ryder.
David
Winona
Seltzer.
Ryder.
Oh, God, it
Jeremy
I like
Piven.
David Seltzer, but let me tell you something. That little
Cary
piece
Green.
of garbage. I wanted, and you know something, when they tried to make it, and he was trying to know that he wasn't going to get the girl, and he let Charlie Sheen have it, I'm like, that's noble, nerd, because you're not getting any action, so you might as well help somebody out, you little piece of shit.
Wow.
All right,
Well,
moving
I'm
on.
going to
Let's
go
move on.
one of the most painful experiences
Lucas
in my
rape
entire
you?
life, guys. It's Richard Linklater's Waking Life.
Ooh,
I
that-
saw
that
that
was pretty
in the
bad.
theater because my friend said, let's go see this new animated film by Richard Linklater. I said, well, this sounds interesting. I get in the theater. I swear to God, I was never so bored. That is the most, you get tired of me saying pretentious. That is the most pretentious film I have ever
I
seen.
will, I will have to
It
agree
applies,
with
it
him
applies.
there.
I got up, and I just remember there's a scene where this guy just pours gasoline all over himself and lights himself on fire. I got up and I ran out the theater, and then the usher comes up to me and goes, "Man, chill out, man. You can go get a ticket for another movie."
man.
The whole theater walked out. He
Don't-
said it was without a doubt the worst piece of shit I think I've ever seen.
Fire out two more. First, The Grinch was a piece of fucking shit.
I didn't see it.
And
thank
from
God.
the-
one!
Hold on, I'm
turn.
firing it out. And from the man who made The Grinch, A Beautiful Mind. And I hate
Okay, that's a good one.
I hate movies that star attractive people as retarded people.
Why
This
do
is
you
my-
keep seeing Ron Howard films? That's my question.
I don't know. But this is my biggest pet
Yeah,
peeve.
that is a good question.
He's a shit director. Everyone knows that.
Spielberg Light, as I refer to
Hold
him.
on,
Yeah.
God damn it, 1 second.
Ooh.
No, but
yeah.
I mean these movies and a Best Picture winner. I know we talk about how many awful
Yeah,
Best Picture
somehow
winners there have
managed to rip off Fellowship of the Ring that year. Epic
Was
film.
it
Yeah. They
That's
beat
a shame.
out Fellowship of the Ring.
Don't forget there was a Lord of the Rings film out.
And-
This thing makes me happy is that this new one, Cinderella Man, has bombed so badly. Thank God.
I feel bad because I like Russell Crowe. He's one of the best actors.
He's
going
an
right
asshole.
now.
He's an asshole. Though.
Oh, so?
I can't root for assholes.
He's a
Him and
good
Colin
actor.
Farrell. So what's your
Jeff.
choice, Jeff? Come on.
Another bad piece of shit is Tom Hanks doing his Latka impression in The Terminal. A movie that I just felt
And one I would
my
never see.
time was wasted.
I
I
was so scared of that film when it came
Oh,
out 'cause
you,
it looked like
it was,
garbage.
you
It
were
looked
right
like
to be
garbage.
It was
scared.
garbage.
And then I guess Spielberg considers it an independent film because it didn't cost $100 million for him.
Fuck him.
And and then he puts
He
what
built
is
an
it?
airport.
the guy who was usually in Wes Anderson movies,
Kumar.
the indie. Yes, he's in the film like it was supposed to give this movie some kind of quirky
Indie
magic.
cred. Indie
Exactly.
cred.
But
Fuck
the
him.
movie's crappy, and I would not believe Catherine Zeta-Jones as a flight attendant any day.
And doesn't she like kind of fall in love with Tom Hanks?
Exactly. For this guy who cleans up in the
give me a
bathroom at the
break.
airport.
When you
Give
fall
me
in love
a
with some guy who
break.
showers, who takes a bath in a
No, you don't.
bath.
No, the movie is just horrible on all fronts. It's not cute. It's not funny. It's not quirky.
I don't believe.
I can't even say the production values are nice.
What do you think, Mike? What's your choice?
I would have to say the Doom Generation because let me tell you something.
oh, God.
I you know,
I agree. Good choice.
You know, one character calls the other character upon meeting for the first time nut liquor for really no reason, and the other kid just takes it all in stride and acts like a retard. That's Jimmy Duvall.
Yeah, it's a
Jonathan Shea calls Jimmy Duvall nut liquor, and okay. And then the whole every time they go to a store and purchase something,
Yes.
it's rung up as
666.
666. And I'll tell you, I was watching with some friends, and there was about 15, 20 minutes left in the film, and I got up, I said, you know something? It just isn't worth it. It just isn't worth it to watch the rest of it.
And
I've already lost all this time that I could have been, you know, I don't know, staring at my wall, masturbating, whatever. And let me tell you, it just wasn't worth
Jeff,
it.
you're
I
dying to
gotta-
say something.
Yes,
Go
because
ahead.
I don't see what the whole thing of this film is. I don't really want to see people's heads getting blown
It's
off,
different,
and it's
that's
still
why.
talking. That isn't different. That's just stupid and wasteful. Nor do I need to see a guy eat his own semen.
Another thing I
kinda
thought,
wanna
I
see
thought that was
Well,
disgusting.
you know,
and not only
watch
the thing that
porn
upset
for
me is
that.
I thought it was very.
I found it
I thought it was
highly
very racist,
disgusting.
actually. I thought it was very racist. Like I love there was like a joke they thought was funny where you see the whatchamacallit on the Asian clerk.
Yeah.
And his name is Young Cock, Young Suck, which is supposed to be funny.
Well, that was when that was
Exactly.
Greg Araki's gay period,
Wow.
even though he's now with a girl. So go
So
figure.
yeah, he's a shit
His
director.
bisexual
Well, my
period
choice,
right
we only
now.
got 1 minute left, so I want to make this count, would be Steven Spielberg's Hook.
I love
That
Hook.
is-
Hook
Oh,
is,
Steve.
I love
Hook
Hook.
is
Oh,
Michael
on,
Jackson.
Steve.
I was 10
Steve.
years old when Hook came
Oh,
out.
God.
Mike, that's Michael
You've seen it
Jackson's
since
wet
then.
dream.
And I
Oh,
still
God.
fucking love it.
Oh,
Oh,
God.
it's terrible.
Hook's great.
You haven't
God
seen it
damn
since
it.
you were 10.
It's
Exactly.
a stupid movie. It's
I
made,
have,
I
and I
don't know,
love
it's
it.
too dumb for kids. It's too smart for
I
adults.
loved it as a
It's
kid.
You know what
horrible.
you do with Hook? You go see that with your favorite pedophile, and they give you a free rape kit at the end of the movie. That's
Yeah,
what
that's
happens.
why
what
you go to the
happened.
theater.
That's
That's why
how
you
it
go
happened
to
when I
the
saw it.
theater and you see everyone in a raincoat. Let me tell you.
Okay,
For the
so
little
spit
children.
one out. Come on.
I'm Edwin Samuelson.
streak.
Please feel free to email us your
Black
comments
Knight.
of what you would love us to discuss.
Tell
have
us what your
discussion.
most hated movies are.
Yeah,
Come
tell
on.
us what you want us to
Exactly.
review.
Do you agree or do you
Cover.
disagree?
Yeah.